guys, it's Miss Chang here. So in this video, I'm going to be reviewing with you guys concepts that we've gone over in Algebra 1, and we're going to be practicing things like order of operation and basic math vocabulary that you would find in algebra. So the first thing I want to go over is order of operation, or you guys might have remembered this as please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or PEMDAS, P-E-M-D-A-S, which represents the following. So P represents parentheses. So those are parentheses that we use in equations or expressions. There is also exponents. Also, my spelling is awful, so if I spell something wrong, forgive me. M stands for multiplication or multiply. D stands for division or divide, and A stands for addition or add. And S stands for subtraction. And when we're doing order of operation, you want to start with your parentheses and then move on to your exponents. So this is the order you want to go in. But after exponents and you hit multiplication and division, that's when these two are actually equivalent. So you can do division before multiplication, but it's based on the order. So when you have to decide whether you do multiplication first or division, it is whatever comes left. So you, like a book, when you're reading words, you read from left to right. With equations or expressions, you want to do math left to right. So you would multiply if it came first, or if it divide on the left, you would use division. Same thing with addition. It's also reading it from left to right. So addition and subtraction are equivalent, but it is based off on what is left first, or the furthest thing to the left. And I'll try to do some examples here showing that. So in our first one here, you can see that if I were to work inside the parentheses first, x and minus 2 can't combine because they're not like terms. So then I would do exponents, but I don't have exponents here. So then I would move on to multiplication or division. Now there's no division here, but I do notice there's a -3, so I have to distribute that first. So I can't do that plus sign yet because we have to take care of multiplication first. So if I distribute the 3, I get -3x. -3 times -2 makes a positive 6, right? Two negatives make a positive. And now I just bring down the 5. And if you look at this here, notice how 6 and 5 are both constants, or they're both numbers. So you can combine the like terms, 6 and 5 add to be 11. And I'm just going to bring down the -3x. And so when I look at these two, these are not like terms. So I can box that in because that is my final answer because I can't combine any further. Now with part B here, again, the parentheses, I can't combine anything inside, and there are no exponents. So looks like I'm going to distribute the number that's outside. So I have to distribute this 2 that's outside the parentheses because multiplication would come next, or division, but there's no division. And then I'll also distribute this 3, but keep in mind this is a -3, not just a +3, so you have to bring that negative inwards. But let's focus on the 2 here. So if you multiply the 2 in, this is 2x -2, because 2 times -1 is -2. Now I'm going to take this -3 and multiply that through, so that'd be -3x. And -3 times -6 is +18. Now when I look at this here, I'm like, hey, these two are like terms. That's an x and that's an x, so I can combine them. And so what we're going to do is combine the coefficients. That's a 2 and that's a -3. So if I take 2, subtract 3, I get a -1x or -x. Now if I combine these two, because they're both numbers, -2 plus 18 is going to give me positive 16, I believe. So in this case, this would be my final answer. All right, so the next one here, this one's very similar to the top one. As you can see, I have a 4 outside, so I'm going to distribute that 4 first. So that would be 4x plus 8 minus 3. And so I can combine these two terms because they're both numbers. So this would give me 4x. I would bring down the 4x. 8 minus 3 is 5. So that would be my final answer because I can't combine those two terms. So this is it. And then this one here is kind of weird because there's a negative sign here. But I want you to imagine, since that's a negative sign there, you would distribute the negative sign. Or just think of it as distributing -1, right? If there's not a number there, you can always assume it's a 1 there. So if you were to distribute a -1, you would have -1x, or just -x. Actually, let's just go ahead and write that as a -x. It's a little bit cleaner. -1 times -3 is +3. And then we're just going to drop down this one that's sitting on the side. Since that's not in the parentheses, we'll just go ahead and bring that down. And then we're going to combine these two terms, and that would give me a +4, -x. And that is my final answer.